All right, let's get this.
On the left,
Candace?
you got it.
Somebody's looking for me? Nick. I ain't worried about these. That I'm worried
Chief.
about. Testing 1, 2, 3. No, I'm looking at Tracy, but my problem is this. I want it to work.
Ours is on high levels because we doing stuff.
Chris, even if you say testing 1, 2, 3 right now is good. As soon as somebody comes up for public, then that's when the microphone doesn't work. So if y'all can stick around or somebody can come back. Today it might work, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
that's usually what happens.
All right. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing.
I know. Let me get half of them.
I just over here.
If he gets out, I don't know if I can sit next to you today.
That's for your kid.
I think so. Is it tomorrow at 10?
They said they changed the format. We don't find out that the format get changed until we get here. Take all the committee meetings out. Then you just whole business.
Did you see the
Might
fountain?
be a mutual, a door, like, a door.
Look at the lights.
It's decent and in order.
Had a good time then.
Next month, literally have a conversation with you every day. Agree. As far as what? Working
I ain't even gonna act like I'm
I
gonna get I said, I'm 14, but
They could be fighting in the halls.
work on the other stuff later.
Drought.
But they nice. Yes, ma'am. This is new.
Chief.
Hard to find.
Yes, sir.
We got
Okay.
appreciate it.
He can start.
So is that something
Who?
new?
I'm gonna start reaching out to people.
Okay.
I have my accent.
Where is Justin?
Justin?
This new? This is something new?
Not exactly new, but it's happening. Like some shows set up there.
No, we good, guys. We good. Ken said he's
Okay.
I think we're ready.
It's a great way to be. Just keep it out front.
Say it well. Oh my goodness.
Good morning and welcome to the City of Chester City Council meeting for Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. As always, we're going to start with our invocation today, given by Reverend Eric Carr, pastor of St. Daniel's United Methodist Church. Everybody knows St. Daniel's. Let's all rise, and following we'll have the pledge to the flag.
O Lord our God, how excellent is your name. You are the excellent God who created all things. You are the excellent God who created us. You are the excellent God who breathed life into us, who woke us up on this morning. You are the excellent God who gives us strength to go about our day. And so, God, we invoke your presence on today. We give thanks to you for your many blessings. We give thanks to you for the mayor, for the city council, for all of the city officials. We give thanks, oh God, for all who are assembled here today. Be with us during this time. Work in, work through, work about us, so that you might be pleased with the work that is done today. We pray for our city of Chester. Allow all things today to be fruitful, to be good, and to be done in excellence as we yield to your excellence. This is our prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Carr. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Gibson.
Present.
Green.
Present.
West.
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Mayor Roots.
Present. Can I get someone to give a motion for approval of the minutes from September 19th?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, signal by aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it, motion passed. It's public comment time for those of you who have comments on agenda items only. Just step up to the mic. Good morning.
I attended your Budget and Finance Committee meeting this week, and I just wanted to be clear, because a lot of folks were not there, that it was stated that, from the financial office, that the city is able to pay all bills, including pensions, for the year 2024. Did I get that quoted correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
You said correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct.
Excuse me. I said yes, ma'am, Ms. Smith.
Okay, yeah, okay. I said that, so that was correct. Okay, so therefore, it was said that that is a true statement. Is there any written documentation for the public to look at to see the validity of that particular statement?
At this council meeting this morning, there is not a physical printout of that information on hand, but we can get that information for any member of the public who would like to request it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then lastly, in R-100, excuse me, approval of the intermunicipal cooperation agreement. I understand it's three different municipalities. What is the usage for that particular grant?
Say that again, Ms. Smith, which
Okay.
one?
It's under 100. Solicitor Schuster has submitted this information. The intermunicipal cooperation agreement, I know it's being divvied amongst 3 different municipalities, but I'm asking, what is the usage for that particular grant?
So, I was going to have Asia, who is our grant coordinator, come up here and explain in particular what that grant is used
Okay.
for, but I can give a quick synopsis if you like.
That's fine, you can give me a synopsis, I'll take that.
So basically, that money is used directly for our police department for whatever the fund is specifically can be used for specific things, but that is up to the police department and their jurisdiction on how they plan to develop and use those funds.
Okay, so that's additional funds that the police department is getting from the county with their cooperation agreement? So that's an additional money, that's?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments? Public comments for agenda items only? Switched our agenda around just slightly, but it's time for new business. Anyone have any new business to share or report?
Mayor, I'd just like to say that today, some of our residents experienced a power outage. I think there were about 7,000 customers, PECO customers, who had experienced this outage throughout the region. And then as of this morning around 8 o'clock, I think there were still about 480 customers still without power. So it was supposed to have been restored by 9:15 a.m. this morning. Whether that happened or not, I didn't have a chance to check it before coming to council. But it was due to equipment failure, and I just wanted to note that in this morning's meeting. Thank you.
Good morning again, everyone. So some new business that I have and partner in conjunction with the Public Works Department as well as our State Representative Carol Kazim in support of Mayor and Council. I would like to announce that we will be starting the Hometown Heroes program in the city of Chester as of October 1st up until January 1st is when applications will be available. Basically what that program will be doing is just honoring military veterans, I guess I want to say teachers, professionals, our first responders, our fire department, our police officers. Hometown Heroes is going to be an organization and initiative that we want to celebrate all the members of our community who have served us. The installment will be completely free. So we've talked to PECO, Mr. Heyman, Director of Public Works, Andrew Heyman, excuse me, has helped us get some funding and talk to some people via PECO. So the installation will be free. However, the banners themselves will have to be covered via the families who would like to apply. It will be roughly $190. Like I said, partnering with State Representative Carol Kazim with the support of Mayor and Council, we will try to help get some more funding to make that that grand total a little easier on our family members and our relatives within the community. But as of right now, the fee is set at $190 for the banners. And like I said, it's just to honor those in our community that have served us and that deserve their flowers.
And I just want to thank Councilman Davis for that. You know, people often ask, if you ride through other municipalities and other neighborhoods, you'll see often those signs of all the heroes and people who served in other communities. And people often ask them, why don't Chester have it? And so Councilman Davis worked on that, and I'm glad that we are finally doing that for our Chester residents. It's something that is long overdue. Yeah, so thank you, Councilman Davis.
Thank you.
On the agenda, under new business, we have Amani Reed listed. She's from DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection. There she is. Look at that timing. So if you did pick up this sheet with which, don't sit down, that announces what's coming up. The DEP is setting up on Wednesday, that's today, and she'll let us know if they're coming back for more. So if you have any questions related to what the Department of Environmental Protection does, what they protect, issues in your neighborhoods concerning air, land, or water, particularly in the pollution realm, she's going to be set up down in the lobby by the front door. Could you come up and just introduce yourself, say hi, and let us know what information you have that's available for sharing, and is this a one and done? Just You're going to face us up here.
Sorry, it's
And
my
you have
first
to
time.
talk right into that microphone because
Okay.
it's stingy.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? Good morning. My name is Amani Reed. Thank you so much, Mayor. I am Southeastern Regional Coordinator with Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, and I'm in the Office of Environmental Justice. I have flyers here for the office hours and more information about our office. Sorry, I was running
I see.
due to traffic, so I'm out of breath. But I have some information here about our office. My role is to serve as a point of contact to Pennsylvania residents for permitting, grants, resources, and overall environmental justice education and outreach. So I have, once again, information. I'll be downstairs at the front. There's a table at the front door. I'll be able to answer questions, and I'll have more resources at the table. But I'll just leave it there.
Okay. So you'll be there from 12 to 1 today.
Yes,
Do
sorry.
you plan to come back anytime?
Yes,
Oh.
I hopefully can plan to do this again. And if, time does not allow for everyone, like after 1 o'clock, I'm free to stay longer if needed.
Thank you.
So I'll try to pass these out.
No, there's a table right outside the door.
Okay.
You can just leave them right there.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Ms. Reed, may I have one, please?
I just want one.
Thank you.
Other new business?
Under old business, or just any business, I would like to send my thoughts and prayers to former Councilwoman Patricia Lewis West, who served this city for a number of years as a councilwoman, as a professor. She was on the zoning board and held a number of key roles in the city, and she passed earlier this week. So we send our condolences to her family. Also, I want to thank Councilman Davis and also Councilman Will Griffin from Lansdowne Borough Council. Us three together, we held a workforce development training, OSHA 10 training at Local 413 this past week, and we was able to certify 9 Chester residents who are now certified in OSHA 10 training. So I just want to give kudos to both council people and also thank Local 413 for their participation in it as well. That's all I have.
This is sort of an awkward time. Is it new business? Is it old business? I like what you said, just any business, right? So that was one of the things on my list was Miss Patricia Lewis West.
Yeah.
Had a couple other things on here. We hired 6 or 7, help me Mark, Public Works, Parks employees, 6. So we had, how many did we have as per diems this summer? 21. We had 21 per diems, so these are employees that just help us out through the summer. So grass is a big deal in the summer. And it's really tough at the end of the summer season to see those men, most of them are men, they've all been men, go. Especially after Labor Day when grass still continues to grow, through September and October. And through the magic of people who look at budgets, they found that there were some vacancies. So 6 of those per diems got hired full-time. Really excited about that. I know they're not here today. We weren't going to introduce them, but I would assume they're all from Chester and they're all really happy to be working full-time. So that adds to our complement of folks out in the street who do the heavy lifting that we see every day, picking up the illegal trash, the dumping, all the street work. You guys don't go unnoticed. Much of that crew was responsible for the work and cleaning up at the Waters Park over the last few weeks. And for those of you who don't know, yesterday morning around 8:30, the switch was flipped and the fountain is working for the first time in, some say 12, some say 15, some say 18 years. I don't know how long it's been. So I want to thank the Public Works Department, particularly our director, Andrew Heyman, who seems to be the MacGyver of government. I don't know how he does it, but he got it together. And we can't help but to show appreciation to Chester Water Authority and Delcora. Anything water related, sometimes you need some help. So both of those organizations came through, kind of lighten the load for us. So Council Lady West said she was down there last night for the Oldies Dance Party, so she saw the fountain under the lights. I saw it earlier, but she says it really looked great. On this sheet, you'll also see that we're going to have a rededication to the park itself at the Waters Park on October 12th. Amanda Johnson, thank you so much for coordinating that. She's coordinated it so well that I think there's 30 vendors out there, and 15 of them at least will be food vendors. So we've added another term to it. It's not only the rededication fall festival, it's October Feast. So come and eat and enjoy on October 12th from noon to 4, I believe. That was on my list. That was on my list. Guess I can introduce, is this the time to introduce new folks? Do we have a slot on the schedule for that, or? I just wanted to see, I know they had.
Mayor, what new folks would you like to introduce?
Oh, our interim HR director.
Certainly.
Is she here? I thought I saw her. They're way back there, sitting where you belong. So hi, why don't you come up and just say hello, let people know who you are, just your name, where you're from, what role you're going to fill in for us. Look at her, she's still trying to find out how to get to the front. Let's say hello to Miss Kennedy.
Good morning, Mayor of the
Good morning.
Council.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tricolia Kennedy. I am sitting in as the interim director of HR until we can find someone permanent. My background is heavily in consulting, so I have worked with a various number of companies to help with organizational development to ensure that companies are running smooth as it relates to their people operations. Most recent role being that of the VP of Human Resources in the City of Philadelphia with Congresso, which partners with social services organizations, the Department of Human Services, has a healthcare center and charter schools as well. So I'm very excited to help create some organization within the department as well as find someone who can ensure that the ship is running smoothly. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, we do have some bad news in the community. For those of you who didn't hear, social media had some postings that threatened schools here in the city. So a few of our schools, the Chester Community Charter School and Drexel Newman School, have shut down for the day. I did get in touch with the folks at Community Charter. They said the FBI investigation has already yielded where these messages may have come from. It's just really sad to see. If you didn't see the images online, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. It's a lot of guns, and you can't take any threat lightly. So we just hope that this is a one and done. But I'm really proud to see that people stepped up, made the call, and made the decision to err on the side of safety and closed our schools. That's all I have. Let's keep this moving. It's Madam Clerk.
Are you doing the old business readings first, Mayor?
Oh, I'm so busy with the new business, I missed the old business. So a little change in format with the committees. If the committees have met, we're going to have them report on their committees. If anyone who's a committee head wants to make any type of comment or an announcement with regard to their committees, you'll have the opportunity to do so. But just to streamline things, we'll start with our Budget and Finance Committee. Chair Davis met since we last had a council meeting.
Yes, so the Budget and Finance Committee met this Monday, September 23rd, just to discuss July financials. It wasn't just July financials, it was July and a few months prior as well, just to cover just basic operations of what was going on. As Ms. Smith mentioned when she came here and made public comment, we are able to pay some significant bills that have been an issue for the City of Chester these past years. So we got some insight on what was going on to that. I understand when it comes to the financials of the city of Chester, people are always asking questions in regards to how do we pay this as a city that's in bankruptcy, and they are all valid questions. And the reason that we're having meetings like we had on Monday just to cover basic operations and things of that nature is just to give some more transparency to the community on what's really going on. The city of Chester is still in bankruptcy. The city of Chester is still in debt. We still have large outstanding bills. However, the city of Chester is doing better and progressing forward when it comes to handling its finances. And that just happens one step at a time. So as I mentioned to Ms. Smith when she did come up with her public comment, we are happy to give out any public information that is requested of us. You just have to all communicate what you're looking for, and we'll be happy to get it to you. And when I say we are a community, so myself, our CFO, and any members that you ask, we're happy to give information that you're looking for. Thank you.
Oh, Council Lady West, Public Works Committee.
Good morning, everyone. I'd just like to say that Director Andrew Heyman, Director of Public Works, and myself and my counselors Green and Gibson Williams, we met on September 23rd to discuss the amendment to Article 901. And that article deals with backfilling and repaving. As you can see, a lot of vendors and utility companies are actively engaged in making repairs, and in those cases, they have to excavate and, dig up our streets. And so what we want to do is to make sure that when they're doing the backfilling, after the work is done, the backfilling and repaving, that they're doing it curb to curb. We want to make sure that our streets look nice. I've seen some instances where, maybe some work had been done a few years ago, and then someone comes along and does more work, and they only repair from where the work is over to one side of the curb. If you do it curb to curb, then it's, uniform and it looks better. So we want our community to look nice. We know the work needs to be done. And then also what I want to do is apologize on behalf of some work that has been done in the community, because it's my understanding that community members are not being notified properly when the work is being done. Our council lady was one of those persons where she woke up one morning and they were digging up her street. So we have to make sure that they are communicating with our residents here, because we don't want you to, we know it's going to be an inconvenience, but we don't want it to be an unexpected inconvenience. So we'll do better with that. But, and then I'd like to thank publicly again and again and again, Mr. Heyman. We speak every day. I'm the chair of the committee. He's the director of the department handling the day-to-day operations. I'd like to thank the people in Public Works for your tireless efforts and what you're doing. And you're very supportive of me, always have been, and I will also continue to support you. Thank you.
Thank you. As a perfect segue to something I forgot to announce, most of us know the 6th Street Bridge. That's by the 7th Street basketball courts, between the 7th Street basketball courts and the railroad tracks. That bridge has been out for a long time. Pennsylvania Department of Transportation has announced that they're incorporating the 6th Street Bridge replacement project into their 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. When you hear TIP and when you hear that money goes into the TIP, that means that it's funded. So that's good news. Of course, we have to wait until 25 to 28 for the for the bridge to get rebuilt. What else can we say? This $4.5 million project is fully funded by PennDOT, so that's good news. Just want you to know, PennDOT's coming through. All right, Madam Clerk.
Bill number 7, first reading was on September the 11th, 2024. Ordinance number 6 of 2024. An ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending ordinance number 16 of 2023 entitled 2024 Budget, providing for compensation adjustments, corrections, modifications, and changes in organizational alignments for use during the 2024 calendar year and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith.
I move that we pass Bill number 7 on its last and final reading.
A second.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
No.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Bill number 8, first reading was on September the 11th, 2024. Ordinance number 7 of 2024. An ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, repealing Article 133 entitled Civil Service in its entirety and enacting new Article 133 entitled Police and Fire Civil Service Commission of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Chester, Pennsylvania, 1978, as supplemented and amended to provide for and oversee the examination of applicants for appointment to any position that requires testing in the police and fire departments, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith.
I move that we pass Bill number 8 on its last and final reading.
I second that we pass Bill number 8 on its last and final reading.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Bill number 9, an ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending 901.13 entitled Backfilling and Repaving of Article 901 entitled Excavations of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Chester, 1978, as supplemented and amended by adding new subsection C to 901.13 to include circumstances for base repair, surface milling and overlay, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith.
I move that we pass Bill number 9 on its first reading.
I second that we pass Bill number 9 on its first reading.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the following individuals have requested a handicap parking zone. Number 1, Anna Gonzalez, 3014 West 11th Street, Chester, PA 19013. And number 2, Lynn K. Lee, 2503 West 6th Street, Chester, PA 19013. Whereas after a thorough investigation by the Department of Public Works, it has been determined the aforementioned individuals have met all of the required criteria and have a need for said handicap parking zone. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the proper city officials to install a handicap parking zone in the 3000 block of West 11th Street and in the 2500 block of West 6th Street in the City of Chester.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, whereas Chester City Council approved entering into a memorandum of understanding known as MOU with the County of Delaware, known as the county, for the deployment of county law enforcement and/or emergency services personnel beginning July 15, 2024 until September 9th, 2024. And whereas the City of Chester Police Department, known as the Police Department, is experiencing a critical staff shortage. And whereas the county desires to continue to assist the police department to supplement its staff with grants funds they received from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, known as PCCD, in an amount not to exceed $200,000. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify approval of the amended MOU between the City of Chester Police Department and the County of Delaware for the deployment of county law enforcement and/or emergency services personnel to continue until the sooner of number 1, December 31st, 2024, or number 2, the available PCCD grant funds as defined in the MOU has been fully expended. Further, all other terms and conditions of the MOU remain in full force and effect. Even further, it does authorize the mayor to sign an MOU for and on behalf of the City of Chester Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester received a recommendation to consider an alternative provider for workers' compensation insurance. And whereas 5 companies were selected and the award is based on experience, plan availability, and cost. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of Assured Partners Murray as the city's broker of record and exclusive insurance representative for workers' compensation insurance. Further, it does ratify the notification to the city's prior workers' compensation provider. Even further, the mayor and city clerk are authorized and directed to execute all documents necessary for and on behalf of the City of Chester pursuant to this appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester was designated as a distressed municipality under the authority of the Municipalities Financial Recovery Act on April 25th, 1996. And whereas the City of Chester desires to make an application for financial aid by way of loans, grants, and otherwise under and by authority of the Municipalities Financial Recovery Act, Act 47 of 1987. And whereas the Pennsylvania Department of Economic and Community Development makes available loans and grants and aid to such projects through the municipality's financial recovery program for projects that implement adopted recovery plan strategies. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that the elected council of the City of Chester is hereby authorized to make an application for such a loan or grant under the authority of the Municipalities Financial Recovery Act. Be it further resolved that the proper officers of the City of Chester are hereby authorized on behalf of the City of Chester to execute applications, agreements, contracts, or other documents necessary to apply for and to secure aid for the City of Chester from the Department of Community and Economic Development under and by authority of the Municipalities Financial Recovery Act.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve an intermunicipal cooperation agreement between the City of Chester, Darby Borough, and Upper Darby Township to receive allocated funds in the amount of $47,555 from the United States Department of Justice from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, known as JAG, Program Award for fiscal year 2024. Further, that it does authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute said agreement for and on behalf of the City of Chester.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester does hereby appoint Thomas Moore to the full-time position of Chief of Staff effective September 30th, 2024 for 37.5 hours per week with medical benefits effective October 1st, 2024. And whereas said employment is contingent upon said individual successfully completing the 60-day probationary period. Now therefore the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby appoint Thomas Moore to the position of Chief of Staff for the City of Chester effective September 30th, 2024 with a 60-day probationary period and medical benefits beginning October 1st, 2024. Further, if said employee fails to meet the job expectations within the 60-day probation period, said employee will no longer be eligible for the position and will be subject to termination from said position.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve the partnership agreement and memorandum of understanding known as the MOU between the City of Chester and Chester Exchange to establish a Chester Exchange Learning Hub to provide learning and enrichment opportunities for any Chester student in grade K through 12 who are requesting academic help. Further, that it does hereby authorize the proper city official to execute the MOU for and on behalf of the City of Chester.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? I'll just make a quick comment. As bland as these resolutions read, what this basically says is once a week, Chester City Hall will be host for after-school tutoring through an education program here in the city. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Controller,
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
good morning.
Can everyone hear me? See, it just sounds low on this side. We had to make an amendment to the MMO for 2025 for the O&E plan. The new minimum municipal obligation will be $203,532. So just needed to read that into public record. Also wanted to inform you that our 2024 municipal pension state aid allocation was deposited today, and that amount is $2,145,420.35. So we will be making contributions to the plans or plan. The funds have to go into the plan. It doesn't have to go into all three of the plans, but we do need to make an allocation in that total amount to the plans. So I'm sure within the coming weeks, we'll be making sure that those funds are deposited into their respective plans. And that is all.
Thank you.
Were there any questions about the MMO? No?
Nope. Interim Chief Shirley? Commissioner? You've got so many titles right now.
As of a few moments ago, just back to one. So, nothing to report. Just wanted to welcome Tom Moore and look forward to helping him transition into his new role.
Hey. Yes, hold on. Tom Moore, thank you for joining us today. Will you please join the mic, say hello.
Good morning, Mayor and Council, members of the public. Let me first say it's good to be back in City Hall, first of all. So I'm so humbled to be able to have this opportunity to work with members of council again. Some of us, Councilwoman West, have worked together in the past. For those of you who I haven't had the opportunity to work with, I noticed that the resolution said I only have to work 37 and a half hours. I don't know where that came from because it's not a 37 and a half hour job. So you're going to get a lot more from me. I'm going to assure you that this is something that I'm very eager to jump into. In fact, I'm glad the interim HR director is here. I have my employment verification form and my W-4 ready to go. I'm ready to roll up the sleeves and get started and provide you the assistance that you need and provide the services to the city, its residents, its taxpayers that they deserve. So I know these are difficult times, but I think you're putting the right team together. You've got good department heads, you've got good employees. I recognize a lot of familiar faces, so looking forward to working with you, working with them, and you'll be proud of the decision that you made. So thank you so much.
I'm just going to say a couple of things, just for maybe clarity's sake. A lot of people have been moving in and out of positions here, so I just want you to know where Mr. Moore sits in the scheme of things. Many of you may have remembered Mr. Leonard Leitner. He was the chief of staff who has taken another position. When Mr. Leitner left, we had our fire commissioner Shirley step in as the interim chief of staff, until now that we've finally went through the process of all the interviews and hiring of Tom Moore as the permanent new chief of staff. You may hear the title, you're likely to hear the title changed to, somebody say it right before I mess it up.
City Administrator.
Thank you, guys. City Administrator. So in a matter of time, you'll see that position title turn to City Administrator. Basically what the job is, it's really the top job in City Hall. It's the guy who runs City Hall on a day-to-day basis. The one thing I do like about the title Chief of Staff is that it's one title that defines what it says. Chief of the Staff, like in charge of every employee in the building. So that's a big job. That's a huge job. Tom is a guy who has lived in Chester for 24, 25 years-ish? 23, all right. So he knows the city, but he knows City Hall. So really happy to have him contribute. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Any other comments on Mr. Moore? If not, we're going to move right into our public comment.
I have a comment on Mr. Moore.
Sure.
I'm very happy that Mr. Moore is back with us. When we worked together a few years ago, he was excellent, and he knows how to build consensus. He knows how to get cooperation. He's a fair person, and he's someone that I can say that most of us trust. We trust him. So I know there'll be some times when you have to communicate some difficult things to council, and we may not like everything you have to tell us, but I trust you, you know. And so I'm just willing and ready to roll up my sleeves and work with you, and I'm very happy that you're here. And I want to thank Commissioner Shirley, who has always been with me, a gentleman, very courteous in your communication when you communicate those difficult things to me. You've always been mindful of the council and the changes that we've gone through as a council. And, you know, I like your style, and I want to thank you for your support in these past few months. Thank you.
I just wanted to briefly say that I met Tom Moore in 2012 when there was a new administration in the city. He had previously been the chief of staff. And Tom was incredibly welcoming and helped the city like you can't imagine with the transition. And honestly, he's helped the city over the past 13 years, even in his absence. Everyone reaches out to Tom. An excellent selection, and welcome, Tom. Back.
I'm just going to say some quick words about Mr. Moore. As we got the privilege and honor to meet a few times over these last few weeks, I share the same sentiments as Councilwoman West. We're excited to have you back. As I've expressed to you, I'm going to hold you accountable. These are not the old times, these are the new times. So we're going to push Chester forward. So we're going to hold you accountable into teaching so that people here can learn and grow and we can get to the places that we all want to be. So that's one thing that I wanted to emphasize, that everyone's excited to have you back. I'm excited to have you back, even though this is the first time we met, but I wanted to be clear, this is not the old times, we're in the new times, and I'm looking forward to seeing where you can help us go and where we can get as a community. So, yeah, welcome.
I'd like to say welcome as well, and thank you for accepting the position. You know, during the interviews, I told you, you sure you want to come here? We got a lot of issues. We got a lot of problems here in Chester. And he said, I'm looking forward to facing them head on. And, you know, I told all of the candidates that I really am looking for someone that's an executor. We need someone that's going to execute, and I think he's the great man for the job. I've known him many, many years under Wendell Butler's administration. I was on the Chester Junior City Council, and he was there as the chief of staff, and so I've known him over the years. And so I want to say welcome aboard to you. And to Commissioner Shirley, I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication. You know, in the beginning, I told Commissioner that there was a lack of communication, and if you're going to be the interim, I would like some more communication. And ever since then, he's been communicating with myself and the rest of council. And so I appreciate that, because sometimes it is hard to get information around here. And so when you do step up to the plate and provide that information, I just want to publicly say thank you. And I appreciate all the hard work that you've done over this transition period, and I look forward to the new chief of staff helping mayor and council to move this city forward. So welcome aboard.
To Commissioner Shirley, thank you so very much for all that you have done. You've done a fabulous job, and I appreciate you including council in the decisions that have been made. That's all I have to say about you. You did a fabulous job. Mr. Tom, I am so happy that you are here, that you are a resident of the city of Chester, that you care about the city of Chester, and that you want to help move the city forward. So I am excited to be able to work with you. Thank you very much for accepting the position. You're welcome.
Mayor, excuse me, Mayor and Council, if I may, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to serve as the interim. I was truly humbled by you placing your trust in me, and I want to thank you for all of that. It was my privilege, or it was my honor to serve, and I will continue to do so in my role, and especially helping out Tom Moore. While I frequently joked that, you know, I couldn't wait for this day to come, and it is here. I am going to truly miss the frequency and level of interaction that I've had with all of you, and that is one thing I am going to miss. So again, thank you just for the opportunity, and I will continue to serve. So thank you.
Now you can get back to fighting fires.
Back to the real chaos.
I don't take that last statement lightly, because, you know, you have expressed to me, and it's something that you don't consider until you're put in a situation like this. Like, who would have ever thought the fire commissioner could serve as an interim chief of staff? But when we looked at what we had here, and we didn't have much time to choose, and we saw an operation in the fire department that's really well run, it was sort of a strange but no-brainer choice. And he gets in there, and he just adjusts right away. But as he got closer to this time, when it's time to go back to your regularly scheduled program, he did say that he appreciates the fact that he had time to get to know city operations. And, you know, around here, it's really three different companies in a sort. There's the people who run City Hall, there's the fire department, there's the police department. As far as the leadership is concerned, they all kind of have their own islands that they work on. So for him to say that he found value in getting to know how city operations works, the things that work well, the things that don't work so well, and he can take that back to the firehouse and have a better appreciation for you know, while you might not be able to get whatever you want from here, or how to get the things that you want, you know, through us. So I'm sure the time was great for us, and I'm glad you found value in it as well, because you took on a huge task, but you did it great, so thank you. It's great to spend the time with you, because otherwise I wouldn't spend that much time with my fire commissioner either, so it kind of gave me a lot of value as well. We're going to go right into public comments. I got Ralph A. Williams, number 1 on the list. Come on up, Ralph. You got 3 minutes.
Morning, Mr. Mayor,
Good
City
morning.
Council.
Good morning.
Just 3 little small things on my list today. Number 1, the football games are going back on down to Memorial Park. I live 4 blocks, well, actually 4 houses from the park. I'm on 7th and Ward. And when they have the games, the first 4 houses either have garages or carports. I have a driveway out back where I can get 2 vehicles. The people park out there and will not move their cars so we can get out to go take care of our own business. Come back home, it's blocked up. You can't get in. So I I would call 911, and a couple times the police did come out, and I've been calling for the past 4 or 5 years, but I've been living down there for 53 years, and it's got a little worse now. Also, Mr. Davis, I'd like to thank you for the placards you want to put up. I was in the Army from 66 to 69, went to Vietnam in 67 to 68. Quite a few of the guys who you want to get aren't here anymore. I go to the VA hospital in Wilmington at least once or twice a month and visit those guys. Quite a few of the guys that I went to Vietnam with either got killed over there or came back home and they passed away. I'm 77 years old. $190 for a placard is quite a bit of money for a family that's not here anymore, you know? So I'd like to address that to you. Mr. Mayor, I know you were not the mayor when this came up with the bankruptcy procedures, but is there any way possible, like during the meetings, that you could inform the people of Chester about, because the last time I heard about the selling of the water company was when Thaddeus was in here. And we all thought that was shot down, but I noticed last night I was watching the forum that you guys had yesterday, and they brought it back up again, because if they sell off it to like Aqua, who's up in Philly now, they're killing the people in Philly. They're killing them. And a whole lot of the people here in the city of Chester is like me, retired. They either don't have to move or do something else, because if you get rid of the water company that way, Lord have mercy, it's going to be hell, just to go pay the water bill. A whole lot of them can't even buy groceries and get their medicine now. So, you guys think about that again before you take and let somebody come here like Aqua to take advantage of us, okay?
Are you asking for an information session?
Yeah, well, either at the end of the meetings or during the meetings, you can inform the people how far they're going along. Because I've been coming since over here since January. Might have missed 1 or 2 meetings, and yesterday was the first time. Well, it wasn't the first time. I heard about it when Thad was in here a year ago, selling the water company. But I thought all that was out of the way.
All right. So what you're saying is reasonable. The city council meeting wouldn't be the forum.
Yeah, I
to
know,
go into that detail.
yes, you were on that forum.
Yes. Yeah, that was the receivers meeting.
Yeah,
But
because I didn't know if
we can certainly look to schedule a couple sessions so that people can come and
Yeah, I
get
would
their
appreciate
questions
that,
answered,
yeah.
give you real layman's terms, what's going on and where we're headed. Sure.
All right.
That
then.
makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll respond to you when everyone's done the rest of the public comments. But thank you.
Debbie, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce. I won't get. Thank you. Chakota.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Debbie Chakota. I actually live in Montgomery County. It's been my absolute privilege for the past 7 years to be a part of the most important history in all of Pennsylvania, and that is your William Penn landing spot. So today being September 25th, in 1 month from today, on October 25th, and I, being a representative of the Chester Historical Preservation Committee, am inviting all of City Council and the members that are in Chester and anybody that you would like to invite to be a part of the 342nd landing of William Penn. And on this occasion, as being history that most people aren't aware of, I have something to be read that was, as the dedication of that monument was made in 1862. Your mayor, Barton, Honorable James Barton Jr., the mayor of Chester, in conformity to the purposes of your organization to preserve the posterity of landmarks and valuable historical facts connected with the history of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you have caused this memorial stone to be set upon the spot where William Penn, its founder, landed. In the name of the city of Chester, I accept it from your hands, and in doing so, I beg to assume that you will endeavor to guard it from vandalism, protect it to the extent of our power from the ravages of the elements. But although it may crumble so that the generations that come after may not even recognize this spot, the influence of the teachings of William Penn's character and writings will continue to roll down the centuries, gathering strength from time and continually, though silently, leading men to higher and nobler aspirations. This was followed by a speech by your Honorable William Ward, the representative in Congress for your district, and he says, "The mayor has assumed you that this stone will be zealously cared for by the authorities of Chester. Let me assure you that it will have a surer and more sacred guard in the affections of our people. There will be no brighter page in the archives of your society than the one which records the beauty of the sentiment and the grace of the presentation, which will make this spot, marked by the stone, hereafter a Mecca within the borders of the city of Chester, for the pilgrimage of high appreciation of the liberty-loving, law-abiding, and intelligent people." And for 7 years, I, as I said, have had the privilege to have this ceremony and inform people, even though I don't live here, of this most historical spot. So in keeping with honoring this date, my invitation is extended to you all, and hopefully I'll see you then.
What's the date again?
October 25th at 1 o'clock. At 100 Penn Street at the Monument. In the event of rain, we do hold it in a room down in City Hall. Just a picture that your placard that is on the street says, "Welcome to the city of Chester." It all starts here, but I am very aware that the majority of people are not aware of this historical place. And as of last November, your Representative Carol Kazim put HR 246 in place, which has named Chester as the official landing spot of William Penn.
I was getting a little afraid. You were reading that like, am I not taking care of that monument? But I can tell you over the years, the historical landmarks that are scattered around the city have not received the attention that they deserve. So we are beginning to pay attention to these monuments, to these statues, to these landing sites, to our parks. So, you may be involved in some discussions, particularly you and Carol, there with the Chester Preservation Group, as we attempt to do a better job of that. And saying, there's this flyer here, Lafayette. Many of there's a couple flavors of history through Chester, and some of it's very old. So when we talk about William Penn, George Washington, Lafayette, Rochambeau, those are for those old school historians who love the fact that all those folks traveled right through Chester. So that's what this flyer is about, a celebration that's going to take place across the street here in the park on October 5th.
And Carol's going to talk about it.
Carol, you're going to talk about that? Carol, you're next. Come on up.
And just to give you guys a background, I had a meeting with Carol and her team yesterday, and she is one of Chester's historians. So if you want to know anything about Chester, she has a lot of history, and she's been putting in a lot of work for years trying to preserve the history of Chester and really inform people about the history of Chester. So.
And she makes the best Russian tea.
Well, I want to thank Debbie for that wonderful presentation. Tonight, at the Hedgerow Theater, we are going to have an author by the name of Tim McGrath, who wrote the book 3 Inches Thick on Monroe. And Monroe was the president in 1824 who decided to invite Lafayette, which is this big event that we're going to be doing at the courthouse on October the 5th. Lafayette came to your city on October the 5th, came up the Delaware, and the ship was late getting here because the winds and the sails did not work that night. He arrives at 11 o'clock in the city. And at 11 o'clock, he walks up from Richardson's Wharf, was right below us, comes up and goes into the courthouse, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, they serve dinner. And from there, he goes down to Delaware, and that's another thing. But, so tonight, 7 o'clock, Hedgerow, Manchester Avenue, right here in, Rose Valley? So if anybody's free, and please come, because it's really an interesting thing. And McGrath is a resident of Delaware County. He lives in Chester Heights, which I think is really interesting. So he's doing this lecture free. There'll be a book signing and books available if anyone's interested. Now, the October 5th, I think we already went over that. There's no more details I need. But Debbie also covered our Penn Park event, which is very, very important, 1 till 4 at the park, and she told you about coming into the community room if the weather's inclement. Now, one of the things that has nothing to do with those events is we now have a historic museum in the city of Chester. It's in the high school.
Okay.
Give her a hand. Look at that.
What happened was I got a registered letter from Delaware County Historical saying, get your junk out of here, get your stuff out of here. And I had an entire education center on the 2nd floor of the building right there. So what happened is we met with Dowry, and I believe it was at that time Superintendent Parkinson. And he said, look, we'll give you a place. We'll store your materials from the library, from the Historical Society, and finally through a whole, the year, 2 years, they had it there. Then this August, they said, we're ready, the room is ready. It's right in the library, it's opened, and I'd love people to come if they want to, and I'm hoping to get better reaction and relationships with the schools and the teachers, so I'm working on that. I am a qualified teacher. I taught school for 20 years at Lower Merion, Russian, German, and English, so I have certificates, so that's kind of important. Also, I think one thing we need to get the whole city aware of, the Chester City, in other words, the Chester Courthouse is 300 years old this year.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's the oldest continuously used building in the country.
20 seconds, Ms. Carroll.
Okay, you gave me 5.
I did. Organizations give 5.
All right,
so
then.
you
Keep
get
rolling
2 more
then.
minutes.
Okay, I'm rolling. This is my last thing. But on December the 18th was the time they actually started breaking ground to build the building. That would have been 1824. In 25, it's finished, and again, all of the materials that they need to furnish it are supplied. So I need to know, what is the city doing for the 300th anniversary of the courthouse? Now, the county owns it, but I want our city to be involved in the program. The Lafayette thing was initially supposedly working with the city. Now it's the planning department of Delaware County. So I'm just asking, who do I speak with? I know I had a wonderful discussion with Congressman Green yesterday about the importance.
Congressman.
Well,
speak it into existence.
Sorry, I'm moving you up. Councilman Green about the importance of the 300th anniversary. And I know the mayor knows the history of the building and all of that, so let's get behind the 300th anniversary of the city courthouse. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to thank you for always trying to preserve the history of Chester and really educate the people on the history of Chester. You and Councilman Williams, you guys always let people know Penn's landed in Chester and not Philadelphia. And so I really appreciate that. And in terms of the 300th anniversary, I know this is not her job, but she does such a great job at planning things, Amanda Johnson. So I'm going to hope that you will help us with planning a celebration, because this is real history. Chester is really a history landmark. And so I really want us to do a great celebration so we can celebrate. There's no other courthouse in the country that is 300 years old and that is still standing except the Chester Courthouse. And so we really want to preserve that, and we really want to celebrate that. And so I hope you'll have some time to help us. So you'll meet with her? Thank you. Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
And to Councilman Green, Councilman? To his point, there is a ton of history here that stretches back a lot of years, and we have to take advantage of this history. So a lot of what's going on here is leaving markers. So there'll be a Lafayette marker behind us, and we need the signage, we need the markers, so we can increase tourism. There's no reason why we shouldn't have tourists down here all the time, whether you're into early American history, Martin Luther King history, or even current history. The passport program that Ms. Carroll had over at the Delaware County Historical Society was valuable, not just for Chester people, but for Delaware County folks. So literally what they would have in their hand is a replica of a passport, and their schools, their parents, or whatever would take them around the county to find the landmarks, and then they would stamp their passport, and at the end of the season, all the kids would come together. Whoever got the most stamps got the bigger prize. So that's what she's, I'm sure, attempting to recreate just by having some of her artifacts right there at Chester High School. Then we got Sister Twyla Simpkins, who has a bunch of history as well at the Yes Center that we need to get together. And then we have all of our trails, our trail system that is coming together in Chester, and that is to make sure that people can come down and comfortably get down and see the landmarks here in town.
And Mayor, if I may, really quickly, one of the things that Ms. Carroll asks is if we can create some kind of history commission to work with her organization and to really try to make Chester a tourist destination, which we really should be. So, I mean, it's a lot of history here, and she knows a lot. Just like yesterday, I just found out that Avenue of the States, first it was High Street, then it was Broad Street, then it was Market Street, and now we know it as Avenue of the States. I never knew it was all those names before. So there's a lot of history and a lot of things that we can educate our people on, and educate me on too, because I don't know all of the history of Chester, but I'm willing to learn. So I think that's one of the things that we would like to work on too, is creating a history commission, so that way we can. So I'll meet with you. Crozierville?
Do you know that there's a Crozierville in Africa?
No.
That the Crozier family actually went down to Barbados because they were part of the Abolitionist Society and brought 370-some free Barbadian slaves, took the ship, the Cora, down and shipped them over to Liberia, and today there's a city named Crozierville.
Wow.
Liberia. And there's a group that's trying to restore some of the properties in Crozierville. So if you're interested, I'll get you the information.
Please do.
We have a tie with Chester, with the Croziers, with Liberia, with Crozierville.
Thank you. History.
History.
Okay, and I also invite you guys to show up to the mayor's lectures. We have once a month. The last one was on the Underground Railroad here in Chester. That was really fascinating. Who's next? Andrea Campbell. Andrea? Did I say that right? Andrea.
Good morning, council
Good
members.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And
Good
good morning
morning.
to every resident here that's here to voice their concerns. Good morning. My name is Andrea Campbell, and I want to...
Would you mind pulling the mic up?
My name is Andrea Campbell, and I want to say, Mayor Roots, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you cleaning up the area at 720 West 9th Street, across from the Hope Point Church where I live. I have lived there over 30 years, and I've watched my community deteriorate. And I want to address this because you did an immaculate job. Whoever cleaned it up, I appreciate it. It's been like that for 30 years, almost over 30 years. I've watched it deteriorate. And it has been 3 residents that have rented that place and never kept the upkeep. I have watched the trees deteriorate, have fallen on my car, and have pictures proving that these trees are deteriorating. And they need to be addressed. I know when I moved to my residence 30 years ago, my insurance company told me I was responsible for the tree in front of my house, which was deteriorating, dying, and I addressed it. So I'm a property owner. And these are property owners and storefronts around my area from Lincoln Street all the way to 5 Point Curling that need to address you want Chester to look good? Tell them clean their storefronts. You know, address that. I've been watching trash and squatters where the umbrellas are. I want them tables dismantled also out there because they sleep there overnight. I get up in the morning, they've been there overnight sleeping. They have nowhere to go, squatters or no homeless people. And this is not good. And we just had an incident happen in my neighborhood, 3 doors from my house, a shooting. And my car has been shot up. I have holes in my car. And I'm really concerned what's going on in my community. And I appreciate you taking the effort, and I want to be consistent in who I can keep in contact with to make sure they keep the upkeep of this area, making a presentation, because I get up and clean up every morning, in front of my front house. I don't like getting up looking at trash all day. And it saddens me, it really does. So I'm just here to address that, and I need to talk to somebody that I can keep in contact with to make sure they stay consistent on taking care of this area and the storefronts in our area. On Lincoln Street, 5 Points, I went over there taking pictures. I had one person say, "Oh, you taking pictures?" Well, they ASAP jumped on it because they know that I was going to report him, and I'm going to stay on it. That's my job this is my community. This is where I live, and I love where I live. I love Chester. And I've watched Chester go through a hell of a lot of transitions since I've been here. So I'm just here to represent my community, and I hope other people address their communities as well.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, Olivia Smith.
Yes, I want to piggyback on what she just said about the trash. Since the county has taken over the inspections of these stores, who's in charge of the exterior of these stores? Because if you go to where Lucky 7 is on, Melrose and Morton Avenue, it's trash all the way down that strip, and it's coming from the stores. So if the county is taking care of the inspections, which they took from the city used to do their own inspections, who's taking care of the external? Somebody, if it's the city, they need to look at the trash that's all the way down in that area. Secondly, I went to the county council last week addressing the Deshaun Museum. Everybody gives you, the back and forth. But anyway, there's a tree growing out of the roof in Deshaun Museum. They said, well, we really don't own it. It's under the Delaware County Redevelopment Authority and the Delaware County Industrial Authority. But we've allowed, they've used the money that was allotted, and they pretty much used all their money up. So they said, you might want to go and mention it to your local government on how the local government can have a conversation with these authorities to take care of the situation in Deshaun. Now, if you noticed earlier last year, they cut the trees back and they manicured the grounds. The walls are, like Jericho, the walls are crumbling down. And it's, it makes it a different eyesore. They said there's development in the other lot. If you know, what was that governor name? Governor Corbett. Well, he hadn't been governor for eons. But their sign is still there in their yard about the improvements of the Deshaun project. They said somebody named Stein or somebody owns that property. So if we can get that property, remove the sign. The man's not here. He's not the governor. So that is a thoroughfare for the city, and if we're looking at keeping our city beautiful, let's take care of those small things, and hopefully that whoever will have this conversation with county council to make sure that the tales of who owns what, who doesn't. But those folks who don't know the history of it, that was left to the city of Chester once upon a time. But it was taken over by the county government, and they took over the museum, and they took over the artifacts in the museum, which is in probably some people's houses as we speak. So I just wanted just to bring that to your attention. Somebody look out and have that conversation. Thank you.
Carla Beaver.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
Morning. Councilman West, lights are still going out in Chester. So just let you know.
Say that again.
Power outage is still going on in Chester.
Okay, thank
as
you.
we speak.
Thank you, Carl.
I'm here to address Butler Street, Lincoln Street, McDonald Street, Concord Avenue, Curlin Street. Something had to be done. I sent y'all a picture, cars parked on Concord Avenue to the stop sign. Butler Street parked to the stop sign. Cops ride by, they don't do nothing about it. These cars should be ticketed. We have the trees branches covering our lights. We need lights on Butler Street. It's dark at night when I get home from work. We have people have their dogs pooping all over across the street from my house. We need signs up there. If they don't clean it up, they get fined. But that parking lot need to stay like it is. The thing that's in there that you put the grease in, that's been there for over 10 years, that needs to go. And they need to put a lock on that gate where the trash goes at. So I've been addressing this for a while, and enough is enough.
So what she's referring to is the Sadiq's property?
Yes.
On 9th and Curlin, Butler,
Butler.
Concord.
Right.
The guy's abandoned his property, walked away from it. We probably took a step that we shouldn't have, but we've put, what they call them, Jersey barriers? Is that what they're called? Okay, cinder block barriers, so cars can't park in there. There's been illegal dumping. We've towed cars, we've picked up dumping. But that's a private property. I'm sure Ellen and I can. All right, Miss Judy, come on up here. Come on up, Miss Judy. You know, oftentimes people, and rightly so, you don't know the efforts that go into us following up on your complaints because we don't follow up with you. There's really no facility for that to happen yet. But, you know, your complaints, your comments, your submissions do get handled, and here's the young lady who gets most of them in the L&I department. Her pen is prompt, her sheet is out. You know
I'm
what
ready.
we're talking about. Where are we in our process of trying to get this property owner to respect his property?
I would have to pull the files. I don't have any addresses off the top of my head for it. But, I mean, the normal process is we go out, we take pictures, we send violation letters. If nothing's done, we take it to the magistrate. They go from there. Sometimes the addresses are no good. Sometimes it takes a magistrate up to 6 months for us to even get a hearing date. We already are getting them for 2025. So it's not like an overnight process when this happens. The only thing we can do is keep sending violation letters until we get out to the magistrate, and then it's up to them for the next step. Now, I just mainly need addresses. You know, I got Nathan Curlin written here so I can have people go out and start taking pictures, see what's going on, see if there's anything we can do immediately. If it's anything on the streets, that's when we contact Andrew to go out and have their team clean it up. But if it's private property, we get a little more stuck on how fast we can do things. So.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
If I may, some of these properties become a nuisance, and they sit for years, and trash build up for years, and you know the buildings start to deteriorate for years. Is there any way, or has there ever been a time where the city has took these properties over through eminent domain or anything like that?
None since I've been here. I don't know if there was done in the past, but taking property by eminent domain is a little hard to do. You can't just go take properties.
Okay.
You know, again, you got the pictures, you got to serve, you got to post the properties. Some of these people, they just walk away. You don't even know where they're at. We get returned mail. You can't serve them papers if you don't know where they're at, so that drags everything out longer that way as well.
So how do we hold them accountable?
You just got to go through the magistrates and through the courts to try and take the property. We can try and bill them, lien them if they don't pay their, they don't come through and pay and do what they're supposed to do. We can take their property that way. But again, it's a long, drawn-out process. It's not something that happens overnight. I know we were looking at the trees with Providence. We still waiting on a hearing date with that. We haven't gone to court with that, with the property with all the trees. So it is a long, drawn-out process. But it's not something that happens overnight. You're probably looking good 6 months.
Minimum.
Yeah, to take somebody's property. It's not something the courts like to do.
There's a considerable expense associated with that as well.
Yep.
I really want us to get really strict on holding people accountable and holding these property owners and these business owners accountable, because the residents shouldn't have to suffer.
Shouldn't have to deal with that, right.
Because of that.
Yep. But like I said, we're taking people to the magistrates now for simple trash and debris, high weeds and grass, and we're getting hearing dates February of 25, March of 25. We're getting into the new growing season already. And by the time we even get to the magistrate, which the residents don't always show up, so they're issued a little fine through the mail, and in the meantime, our inspectors are sitting in the courthouse waiting for their case. And they can put out a bench warrant on them, search, and they're not going to go out looking for these people. If they get them in a traffic stop or something, then they got them, but they're not going to waste their efforts going after somebody for high weeds and grass or trash and debris. So it's not an easy thing to do, and taking someone's property is very hard to do as well.
Many of the fines are appealed to the Court of Common
Yep.
Pleas, and unfortunately, the majority of the time, the judges significantly reduce the fines.
Yep. So not that we're looking to make money, but it costs us more to take them to the magistrate than it does for the fine that we collect, because you're talking man hours for them to sit, and like the attorney said, then they go appeal it right away to media. And they get reduced. So it's a battle. It really is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I know we've been to the place up on 9th and Butler. Public Works has been there with public safety. And I think the gentleman was fined, and he sent someone down to clean it. I saw someone cleaning it yesterday, but it's not consistently kept up.
Yeah.
And then you have walking traffic, and they're constantly throwing paper and what have you on the lot. Then you have some homeless persons who have found a little refuge during the day that sit there and they throw trash and what have you.
Yep.
I just don't understand why we can't find some type of legislature or something that we can enact, if not at this level, maybe at the state level, where we can go after these landlords. And I think that's something that's worth being researched.
But again, like I stated, we do send out violation letters, letting them know you have 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, whatever, to clean it up. A lot of them will let it just sit there until they get their hearing date. And then the day before their hearing, they go clean it up. The inspector goes out, takes pictures the day before the hearing. Oh, now it's all cleaned up. Now they have no case and they throw it out. Or there's no fine because it's cleaned up. So it's a struggle.
So you're saying it's a lose-lose situation?
Unfortunately, a lot of it is. I mean, we do get the people that we send them letters and we go back and check 10, 15 days and it's cleaned up. But a lot of that is more your owner-occupied properties than your tenant properties. We seem to have more trouble getting landlords, I don't want to specifically say landlords to clean up their property, but getting the landlords to get the tenants to clean up their properties. You know, because then the landlord is the one responsible. The landlord is the one that's going to get hauled to the magistrate, not the tenant. But like I said, you know, they get a hearing date in the mail, and the day before the hearing, they go out and they clean it up. Now we have, okay, it's done, so then the magistrate either doesn't find them at all or finds them the bare minimum.
Mr. Solicitor, do we have something on the books that can lien properties in the city of Chester?
Pardon me?
Do we have some, do we have something that can lien personal property?
Yes.
You can lien it, it just costs money to lien it.
But eventually, if they sell their property,
Yep.
it can be, the city can retain that money.
Yep,
So,
city would get that money back.
We do have procedures to do that, and often the fines alone will run with the title, so if they try to sell it, they're going to have to pay that off.
sure. So I will look into trying to implement that so that at least we can recover the fees that we incurred.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I hope you learned that if the school of thought is the city needs to get tougher, I mean, we don't really have a lot of tools to get tough with. City getting tougher means just getting out here and putting out the violations. But it's the courts that really do the enforcing here. Liens, you know, work, but they don't pay off until there's a sale of the property, which could be years down the road. The issue here, and then in the meantime, while we're going after these property owners, the problem just amplifies, right? There's more trash, there's more weeds, there's more glass, there's more people hanging out, and that's where the finger gets pointed back to the city. What are you going to do to clean it up? So I will say, once, twice, a million times, our public works people are out there right now cleaning up somebody else's mess. That's all they do. That's what we employ them to do. It's unfortunate, but the problem here is bigger than anything that we can fix with manpower and even money. So we need help from these landlords to have a lot more pride, not landlords, but property owners have a lot more pride in the city. If there are some properties that they need to be giving up, so that it could be used in a useful way, you know, we would hope that they would give them up, but we have too many people sitting on properties for too long that don't care for them. That's the issue. But then out in the city with this bad look, you know, so many come to us as the last resort for cleanup. It's almost like saying, hey, City of Chester, you are the maid service for the City of Chester. We're just not built to clean every room in the hotel, if you want to look at it like that. So we're doing the best that we can. We constantly report that our public works people pick up more illegal dumping than the trash man picks up trash going up and down your back alley. That just shows you that this is out of hand. It's out of hand. It's very hard to control both legally, enforcement-wise, and cleanup-wise. But don't stop sending us the information that you have. Carla Beaver and the folk up there in your area, don't stop. I know it's frustrating that we can't get everything all the time as fast as you want, but it does present the case that when we do get someone like that property owner in court, we'll have tons of evidence of resident you know, disappointment, and even our ability to satisfy you, you know, as a city government, which is unfortunate, but is the case. William, it begins with a D.
Dykes.
Dykes, how you doing, buddy? Come on out.
I'm good.
First time I've seen you here.
First time in here.
Okay.
There's Roots, Councilman. I have a concern on my block. I live on Hughes Street. And y'all know Hughes Street is a narrow one-way. We have been having cars been speeding through that area. We got cars coming up the wrong way. Plus we have kids that be riding their bikes during the day out there. My concern is there any way that we can get a sign that says do not enter going up a one-way street? Because we do have we do have a watch children sign, but it's facing the one-way area instead of facing where the cars come in at. See, my main concern is that I don't want nobody to get hit, get hurt. You know, with me being a resident of Chester, this is one of my concerns because I'm more concerned about my neighbors along with the kids. And if anything happens, it's going to affect the people on Hugh Street. So is there any way that y'all can be able to do something?
Yes, the answer is yes. I mean, you shouldn't have a one-way sign without a do not enter sign. So they kind of go together. So all you have to do is let us know where it is. Andrew, could you help him? The guy back there with the mask on. Just let us know what street you need the do not enter sign and the street with the child watch. We can certainly turn it around.
As a matter of fact,
in the right direction.
When and we got to, how the cars do. The cars come up on Butler Street, but then they'll come up the wrong way, going out towards Lincoln. So the problem is though, we need that do not enter at the on Butler Street.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the cars see the sign that says do not enter, that means they got to go around to get where they need to be at, where they need to go at.
Sure, they need to follow the one-way street.
Yes, exactly.
We got it.
All right, thank you.
Let him know. I know
Okay,
exactly
thank
where
you.
you're talking about, though. Thanks for coming in. That wasn't hard, was it?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Joni Asbury?
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
And committee. I was here last time. I complained about the amount of halfway houses or recovery centers that have appeared between 24th Street and 23rd Street. And I know it is being handled by the planning committee, but I also brought up who are the people staying in these houses. No one has ever given anybody in our neighborhood any information on that. And I told you at that time how the streets talk. So instead of listening to the rumors that are going around, I did some research. So far, I went on Megan's list and I found individuals that are on Megan's list for sexual, deviant sexual or rape. Actually, the one that I found lives right behind me. He stays there. So I think that's something that the city should be thinking about and looking into, but also with that, some of these men that live in these places, they work. I know before when I brought this up to someone previously, they said that these people were all related, which we found out that was a deceptive, that they were being deceptive. No, they were not. I think if they're working, are their addresses associated with these homes that they're living in? Is the city getting that tax money from these people working? It's a lot of things that can go into this, and I think it's time or past time for us to know in that area who's in there. I've heard them talk about being 302'd and held the neighbor with a gun. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be associated with that. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront. I haven't finished going through Megan's list. It is huge. But I will continue to research that. But so far, like I said, I know the rapist lives right behind me on a daily basis. So I hope we look into that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So some things are happening. I just want you to know I've been in conversation with our zoning planning department to get some idea what they're seeing from their end. I've talked to one of the property owners, hearing from him. It's at 23rd, 24th Street. There are a number of homes up there, not all owned by the same people. They all have their own, each owner has their own little wrinkle. Well, what we're going to do what we're going to do, and you're going to be a big part of this because I know this is going to excite you. We're going to have committee meetings just on this topic. So we're going to have the property owners come in. We're going to have you and your neighbors come in so we can hear from you. We want to hear from those of us on that intergovernmental committee, hear from planning and zoning. That's what I wanted to tell you, Ms. Kim, that these guys have agreed to come in to state their case, and we will see with everybody in the room at one time whether their cases are valid or not. I think we're going to learn that, as Kevin Hart say, they're going to learn today. But that's kind of the best way to do it so that we don't have a lot of individual conversations between different groups. We're going to bring everybody right here on the mic, on the record, so we can get this all settled quick, fast, and in a hurry. So look for a scheduled date soon for an intergovernmental committee meeting to discuss the topic of halfway houses in Chester.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Randall Robinson. Thanks for your patience, young man.
Well, I'm dealing with a situation. The building next to me is abandoned. It's tore down. It's halfway tore down, but they can't fully tear it down.
What's the address?
Say it again.
The address?
Would be 339
East 9th.
East 9th Street. There's a homeless young man in there. There's several guys, people are in there. And one of the guys just happened to be wanted in Ridley Township for robbing stores out in Ridley. Now this young man comes in and out the building, and when I told him he doesn't belong in there, he raises his shirt up. It's not to show me his belly button. So right now, he's carrying a gun. Now, either he's gonna shoot me, because I'm the only one in there, in my building, during the daytime. I have Parkinson's. That's one of the fights that I have to fight. I have COPD. Lights went off this morning. My CPAP machine was spraying water inside my lungs. That's a personal problem with me. My Parkinson's problem is a part of me, my problem. That young man that's in and out that building, all the neighbors, but my neighbors are in their 80s. They don't want to confront that. I just told them, let me confront it. Excuse my language. Hell, I'm already gonna die either way because there's no cure for Parkinson's. I sent the information to the police Sunday. Early today, I sent the information, gentleman right here. I showed them the pictures of the gentleman, this young kid. He's walking up and down the street. He has a gun. There are kids from the charter school up and down the street. If you're gonna shoot somebody, let it be me, not these babies walking up and down the street. Because he's robbing the dollar stores in Woodland and Ridley. Ridley cops said that's a Chester problem. Okay, so who do I point my fingers at? Are you gonna bring me my flowers when I'm 6 feet under? Because he follows me. Now, as the late Willem A. Leak said, if he comes to my apartment following me, you know what's gonna happen. And that's all I can tell you. If you wanna call it a threat, I have nothing. So if he wants to follow me inside my unit, he can. Because where he's going through that gate to get in that building, it's only a door there. Half the building, they can't demolish it because it's in chase to the other buildings. Now, if the people that are in there, the squatters that are in there, if they light that building on fire, it's gonna get the mine and the family around the side. And it's gonna take me, because Nationwide will not pick up that bill. Can I come live with you, Mr. Mayor? Now, just like the people at that building, that factory, said that they seen the man with a gun. Now I'm telling you and everybody else in here, the young man has a gun. So if he follows me and I know he has a gun, I ain't gotta say anything for it. Because his body, I'm gonna get him before he gets me. Because guess what? What can I do? I have Parkinson's that I contracted through pesticide. I'm not a violent person. I can't work at Boney's no more because of that. 25 years old Crozier Hospital. I can't do that. I didn't cancel Parkinson's. I parks his ass to me, but I'm not claiming it. But that young kid, you have the pictures, I just gave it to you out there. And he's walking up and down the street, freely, and he's following me. I go left, he goes left, and he has a smirk on his face, with a backpack. I can't do it no more.
All right, well, thank you for bringing us that information. We have our police commissioner here. He'll touch, hold on, bro. He will touch base with you before you leave. You're sticking around?
He may be waiting for me outside.
Okay. You got that? Thank you. Mr. Salim, where is he? Oh, there you are.
Mr. Salim.
Yep. Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, please.
Good morning.
Yes. As Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, with the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. I just want to make a brief comment. Our book tells us that you are not a manager of their affairs, and certainly I understand that greatly. I understand that. I just simply want to share. I live in the city, so I just want to share with you. Your affairs with God. No one had the affair at all. God said, they plan and I plan, I'm the best of planners. So we want to get to our Lord's plan. We want to get to what our Lord is planning us in our soul. This is the day that the soul opening up for the good of humanity. The soul has been closed up. The shaitan, the devil, had the soul closed up. That's his thing. Close up the soul. Get your Lord. Don't remember your Lord. So this day we opening up our souls. I want to say something to you, sir, and to council, of course. And this might be a bit distasteful, but certainly it is a lot of truth in here. It says the day that the slave girl will give birth to her master. This is that day. The slave girl will give birth to her master. I think some book may to her mistress, but her master. Now, if we can equate this right quickly, sir, with this mayor, running for president, Khalil. I'm rushing. I don't want to hold you in my time. She's not, her and Trump, if you will, Mr. Trump. This is the day that we, as a people, they will say, oh God, why raise me up little, knowing little when all before I knew much. So God is raising us up as a mercy to all, and to open the way to give birth even to the slave master, Trump, all of them. This is a great day for us. This is a great day. This is a great day. I heard a lot of things happening, and certainly many have ideas. And I say to you, if God has opened up our soul, given us our knowledge that we have not had so long, then the truth or the knowledge is going to come to us. And if these people come who have all these ideas and so forth, and it said, if they come, let them come right.
15 seconds, sir.
Let them come right. Let them come right. It's a new day, sir. So with that, sir, inshallah, God's will, we will continue another time, inshallah.
Thank you.
This is a beautiful time. We have not had ours yet, and we are a beautiful people. You have not seen our beauty yet. Peace.
That concludes all public comment, except for.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Good morning.
Residents and non-residents here into the council meeting. From what Mayor Roots spoke on about last night, our investigation unit intercepted a social media post of threats towards the certain schools here in the city. Very disturbing, and when we received this, we do not tread this lightly. I put a full court press on. Emails are out. We had our SOR at the school, and we had a full investigation unit. I just received a text. We do have the juvenile in custody. Who did do that? And more importantly, to answer your question about the individual, I contacted the U.S. Marshals. I have an officer assigned to the U.S. Marshal. His name's Officer Frank Myers. He does an outstanding job. The individual that you're assuming that's wanted for Ridley, they have all the individuals in custody. I just got the text, so maybe that's an old poster that you have. But if you are feeling threatened any kind of way, I'm gonna give you my personal number. And like I said, we'll set up surveillance, whatever you need to do, but believe me, we will take care of the problem for you. Thank you. I'm gonna talk to you.
Good morning, Mayor and fellow council members. My name is Rosetta Carter. I work in the Health Department, and I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to Mayor and Council for attending our church 105th anniversary last Sunday. And it truly was a blessing to see all the elected officials together. Not only did they come to the service, but you also stayed around for the unveiling of an outstanding marker for Bishop Samuel Ellis. So I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. And last Sunday, it was the first time we had about 3 or 4 mayors together at the ceremony, so that's commendable. So I wanted to say thank you, and also I just want you to know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is approaching. We do have a luncheon that's planned for the 16th of October, and I just like people to know in Chester, the rate for breast cancer is pretty high. And when they are diagnosed, they are at like the latter stages. So that's very serious. So we are trying to also just make sure we actually tell people about or make them aware that services are available for them. Also, I like to say that we do have COVID kits available in the health department. Anyone that wants a COVID kit, because COVID is still alive. So please, and tomorrow, which is the 26th, we will have another vaccine clinic here at the City of Chester in the community room from 9 to 11 a.m. So again, as everyone wants a flu shot, shingle shot, RSV, and whatever shots that are available, they will be available, because I hear a lot of people are coughing. So you have to take it very seriously, so because you can take it home to your children. So I just want to say thank you, but be safe and know that we do have services available. Thank you.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
You said that it's going to be available. Now, will they have to bring their medical cards with them and
Yes, they need to
identification?
bring, they know the routine. They have to bring their insurance card. Okay, so, again, you don't need an appointment. You can just come in, and the pharmacist will be there to provide the shots. And now, according to the CDC, you don't no longer need your little card that we had in the beginning, but still, they have vaccines that are available for you, okay? Let's keep our city safe as well as our city building.
I have another question. What
Sure.
if they don't have insurance? I know Widener has a program. Could you get some information maybe?
Sure, if they don't have an insurance, what we can do, we can work with them, and also the Delaware County Health Department, they have a building at 5th and Penn, so they can go there and also get their shots there.
For
But
free?
For free, that's what they're saying. So, again, we'll talk,
Okay.
okay? Any more questions? Again, just be safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Carter said, get yourself right so you don't go home and get the kids sick. It's the kids that's getting us sick. We had one last straggler here. So come on up, introduce yourself. You're gonna have to put your address on here when you're done.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for being late, Mayor. Mayor and council people.
Name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Calvin Church,
Address.
332 Taylor Terrace, and multiple addresses, I guess I can say. But anyway, the reason why I'm here, Mayor, because some time ago we was talking about the landlord issues with the L&I. We didn't get nothing resolved yet because I guess it's Leitner or Leitner, I don't recall his name. Leitner, he's no longer with us. So we didn't get a resolution or anything to that magnitude as far as how we're gonna straighten this matter out. So I didn't know if you know that, but no one's had called us actually for a follow-up meeting as when Leitner moved out. Now, I touched base with Ms. Hall. She has some great ideas. Now I found out she's no longer with us, which I don't understand that. She, 30 years experience of engineering, and she's from the city, and she when I was talking to her, she had some great ideas. I don't understand that one, but that's out of my reach. But my concern right now is just for when we going to get this resolution as far as what's going on for the landlords and the letters that we're receiving, because I recall when you said we're going to put everything on hold until we get this resolution as far as how we're going to go forward with it. And nothing has been done so far.
I don't know about the ability to put anything on hold, but I wasn't at the meeting. I didn't know where it was left, but you want to have a follow-up to the first one?
No, it was a meeting that we had here, and
Right,
this,
that's what I'm
this
saying.
one right here. And
You wanna
said-
have a follow-up.
Because there was a lot of landlords in here, you would have been here probably today, because
Mhm.
everybody was gonna voice their opinion. So you said, we're gonna put this on hold until we get it straightened out. And that's when you gave us Leitner, whatever his name is, and we met with him about 3 or 4 times, and.
So you're saying it's not resolved?
It's not resolved.
Okay. Then I don't know what the resolution, what it's going to look like. I don't
Well,
know how it was left. I don't know if there's any meetings.
We
but
gave
if
them
it's
a lot of ideas as far as some things that we can do, how we can straighten the matter out, but, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing's still done.
So we'll discuss that with our new chief of staff, economic development person, L&I. We don't have our economic development. Well, we do have an interim economic development, so.
What was that?
We'll get you back on the schedule.
And also just want to say.
I just wish I knew where things were.
And also want to say congratulations to my.
Go ahead.
Friend, right, Tom Moore.
Tom Moore, there.
I've been trying to get him back here for the longest time. Whoever did it, thank God.
Should have hired you for HR. Oh, I did want to respond to a couple of the comments. To Ralph Williams, you still here, Ralph? Hey, bud. Parking over there on that Ward Street area by Memorial Park is something that we know that needs to be addressed. I've talked to a resident on Ward who kind of went around the corner there and talked to residents there. Here's a case from what was reported back to me, that your neighborhood would be open to having residential parking permits because on particularly game days on Saturdays, you guys can't get in or out of your homes. So we're trying to come up with some kind of solution there, maybe even putting parking spots in Memorial Park. But Memorial Park is one of those places that's really hard to park. And when people suggest having big events there, I always cringe because that's the biggest issue. There isn't a lot of parking for that area. But I am aware of the issues over there. So we're trying to resolve it with, you know, residential only signs maybe, but now we have our parking management company. We can make sure our police do patrols so at least driveways aren't blocked and, you know, those type of things. But that very popular youth football sports program that we have, when on some Saturdays they have as many as 4 or 5 games, it brings, you know, hundreds of people in and out to that one small area throughout the day, and it's tough to park. Yes, sir.
Real fast, for the games, I spoke to the head coach down at Chester Sanders, and we do have Chester Police on foot down there at the games. They are there. I actually have 2 additional for the games, so I'm in steady communication with them. I know they have homecoming in a few weeks, but I mean, I take all the complaints in from everyone that speaks here, and I'll send out an email to all my shift commanders.
Thank you. To Ms. Campbell, who were talking about trees on the sidewalks, there's a lot of old trees, a lot of wrong trees that are throughout the city, and you don't have to stand, please don't. Okay. One of the grants that we're going for is a EPA grant, which has a big tree component in it. It's sort of, the project is to plant new trees, but in planting new trees, we're looking to get rid of a lot of trees that need to come down. The city just does not have the money to cut down trees that we know need to come down. You know, a big tree could cost like $5,000 to bring down. But the trees that will be replaced on sidewalks across the city, if this grant comes through, will be the right trees that don't pop up your cement and don't overgrow. So if this comes through, there's a means to plant new trees, but get rid of old trees too. So that's going to be the first time we'll have a block of money to get rid of old trees, and looking forward to getting rid of some because they are dangerous. They're hollowed out, you know, one windstorm and they can come right down. We have a lot of dangerous trees on some busy streets. Ms. Smith, DeShong, you should be aware that the county, Delaware County IDA, Industrial Development Authority, I think they're called, they're sort of the custodians of the DeShong property. They are preparing to put another request for proposal to see if there's any prospects of developers who want to put projects up there. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the building. So some of the work that you had mentioned that had occurred last year, cutting the grass has been ongoing, although they got a late start this year. Last year, the work that was done on that property was done as a result of the Delaware County Industrial Development Corporation or Authority, who controls that. Their insurance for that property was running out, and their insurance broker says we are not going to renew unless you fix some stuff. So you saw some trees come down, you saw some sidewalk work get done, new parking lot. They did a little bit of fill on the stone wall that goes around, but not enough. It's still falling out. And they did some work on the building itself. To any of our surprise, when we look at the building from the outside, we think it's in pretty bad shape, but the results came in that it was in rather good shape. I guess just made with good stuff. But they did do some pointing so that stuff wouldn't fall down from the top. So the good news about the results of that report is in this new development that we hope will happen when this RFP goes out, reusing that building is an important component. So apparently the building isn't so bad that it has to be knocked down. It can be reused. So the only other thing to say to that is not only are they looking at the piece of property that we're familiar with that we call DeShong Park or the DeShong property, there's other neighboring properties that the county and the city own that may also be part of this RFP. So what they'll be looking to build will be beyond just that property, but you know, those parking lots that are around and some of that road. Ms. Carroll, what is it?
I just wanted to say, if people want to make a comment, I spoke with Mary at the county council. She said to get in touch with a Stephanie Kovacs, and she is the one that's in charge of all real estate in the county. Stephanie Kovacs, K-O-V-A-C-S.
Spell her last name again?
Stephanie Kovacs, K-O-V-A-C-S. And she would be involved with Delaware County Council. And also, I assume everyone knows that the collection is no longer on view at Widener. It is in storage, and a Starbucks is in the museum that used to be there. So our collection is in.
You got to love Miss Carroll. She has history for days.
Well, I was on the board. We were the group that kept it just.
I understand. So we're back on that Dishong. There was some artwork that we did get, or that Widener became the custodian of the pieces of art that were left in the building. And they did have a little room where they were displaying some of the art. Never was all of it on display. But in that area where they were displaying the art is now a Starbucks. So all the art, or I should say none of the art, is on display. So that's what's going on with Dishong. But yeah, it's the gateway to the city. It's something that everyone is interested in seeing develop. It's just a question of once this RFP goes out. The last time it went out, no one picked up the package. No developer even bid. But now we do have some interested developers, and we'll just see what they come up with, because it is long overdue. Take the tree down. There's some trees that are down that need to be drug out of there, so that's for sure. Any other comments from
Yes, I
council?
do have a
All right.
comment for, I wish he would have stayed, Mr. Salim. I can appreciate some of the things that he says, even though it seems lengthy, but I heard him loud and clear say, we can accept the ideas that are coming in through the city, but you gotta come right. And it spoke to the accountability that I see taking place here at City Hall. I'd like to thank Mr. Heyman for the awesome job that you are doing. I went to you with an issue, and like, he didn't say, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Right there on the spot, you handled what needed to be handled, and I think that you're really helping to move the city into a positive direction. But to Mr. Salim's point, if you're gonna come to the city with your ideas, come right.
And I just want to make a comment to Mr. Ralph Williams. First and foremost, thank you for your service. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely. I guess the reason that I took on this initiative is because I have over 10 members of my family who served, whether they're still alive or passed. So it's definitely precious to my heart. My grandfather served 23 years in the Air Force, retired. And I agree, the 200, I rounded up 190, but $200 is pretty extensive. My dad made a comment when I was like 13. I asked for a pair of shoes. They were like $200, and he was like, "That's $100 a foot." I'm like, "Wow, I never thought about it like that, Dad. That's crazy." But to say the least, I feel as though when we come together as a community to support our children, to support our nonprofits, throwing different banquets, different organizations have so much to say when it comes to politics, fundraising, and all that. They can come together and help and support our veterans and our hometown heroes. You know, cake raises, bake sales, whatever the case may be. This time where Chester could really show how much they care, because people always talk about how they care but really never show up. How you really care about the people who served us. And I'm hoping that can happen. Like I said, I hope that I can, partner with State Rep Carol Kazim and get some state funding. If not, I think that the community can come together and we can figure something out for our hometown heroes. I really do. I feel as though Chester has a great support system when we come together and believe in one initiative and we can all support it. So I know I have $30 for somebody selling food that might go directly to this program or whatever the case may be. That's really my hope. I understand the cost. I'm not oblivious to it, but I feel as though we can figure something out. And that's all I want to do with this program is, it might not be run perfectly, but with the collaboration of my colleagues and the support of the community, we can figure something out. So I hear you when you say the price, but I'm just hoping that we can figure it out, that's all.
I'm good.
I'm good too.
Now, the only the last thing, I'm sorry, I meant to mention this earlier. You'll see this flyer out here. If you live on 12th Street between Madison and Morton, Madison and Melrose, I'm sorry. You know, you only have a row of houses on one side of the street. The other side of the street is the fence that leads to I-95. All that fencing is going to be replaced if you want it replaced. So we know the big election is coming in November for president, but there's a real election in the city of Chester for those residents only on 12th Street between Melrose and Madison. I got to keep reading this, all these M's. Every home will be knocked on by PennDOT, and they're going to ask the people who live there, do you want a wall across the street as opposed to this fence and all the overgrowth? So the plan is to put the sound barriers that have long should have been in this city, but weren't required when 95 came through. They're coming around and doing it now. They're going to start on 12th Street. Folks have to literally vote who live on 12th Street between those blocks. If they vote to approve the wall, then the next vote or the next decision will be what will the wall look like. We've had PennDOT here a couple of days last week. It was well attended public session. Really impressive. But this is rather important. So there will be people going around like it's a political election, knocking on the doors on the people on 12th Street just to give them information as to who are these people knocking on my door on October 16th and 22nd asking for my vote. So if you know anybody who lives up there, please get them in touch with one of us so we can give them that information. We don't want there to be any surprises. We would hope that they do agree on having a wall up there. And if they do, then they can agree on what the wall looks like. So they have all types of design, everything from ugly brown brick to mural to see-through glass. Well, I guess most glass is see-through, but glass. So it doesn't just have to be one of the renditions I saw was just a big, tall 20-foot wall, and even I wouldn't want that in front of my house. You would feel closed in and kind of claustrophobic, but there's a lot of choices there. So this, over the next 3 years, I think this project is planning to, 2 years? Okay. All right, I'm gonna say 3. It's PennDOT, but all through the city. Probably the most famous is the one we ride by when we go past Highland Avenue, Forwood Street, and Highland Gardens, where it just looks like a house is just on the outside of the lane of the highway. You know, that will be another neighborhood that they'll go through. But 12th Street was really easy. They can get started as early as next year. Next year? 2026, 2027? Yeah, but the decision is going to have to be made October 16th and 22nd for those residents in those homes. So if you know anybody who lives on those blocks, please get them in touch with us, because there will be groups knocking on their doors, giving them that heads up. And if you live on the highway anywhere in the city, your neighborhood might be next. That's all I have for today. If all hearts and minds are clear, as they say, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Almost said that too fast. Thank you. I'm sorry I blew your name.